You know that strange feeling that someone is there, even when they're not. That sudden impression of being watched, as if invisible eyes are following you, even when you're alone. It's not in your head, and it's no coincidence. There are profound spiritual explanations for this that many people are experiencing, but few have the courage to admit, and even fewer have the clarity to understand what's happening. Perhaps without realizing it, you're walking between two realities, and when this happens, the energy around you changes completely. Do you feel chills out of nowhere? A presence? Does the atmosphere feel heavy? Does it feel like something or someone is watching your steps? So, before continuing, leave a comment here with an "I feel" if you've ever experienced this. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now. This is crucial for us to continue unraveling the mysteries, myths, and truths about spirituality and energies. Let's join us on this journey of awakening, because what you're about to hear now could change the way you see the invisible around you. Some people feel this at home, others at work, and some simply anywhere. But what's behind it? Why is this sensation so real and at the same time so invisible to those around us? The explanation may lie in the gaps that open when our energy weakens, when we're at our most spiritually vulnerable. You know those days when you wake up feeling drained, a little lost, without direction. Those days when the weight on your shoulders seems heavier, negative thoughts take over, and every small problem becomes a gigantic burden. Well, yes, it's in these moments that your vibration drops. It's with it that you begin to be seen and felt by spiritual presences operating on a different frequency. But who are these beings? Are they all negative? Are they spirits? Or are there forces simply feeding off your energy without you realizing it? These questions are fundamental, because the spiritual world is vast, mysterious, and not always fair. There are lost spirits, there are obsessives, there are entities that merely observe, but there are also those who approach through ties to the past, through promises, through unresolved karmic debts. And when you feel you're being watched, it may be the echo of something ancient that still needs to be resolved. Many reports point to subtle spiritual manifestations: a shadow passing in the corner of your eye, a mirror reflecting something strange, a soft noise in the silence of the early morning, or a sudden change in temperature. These are all signs, and the more we ignore them, the stronger they become. Because spiritual energy works in silence. It communicates through signs, symptoms, and sensations that the rational mind tries to deny. But the body feels them. The soul recognizes them. There are people who say, "But I'm not afraid. I don't believe in these things." But spirituality doesn't depend on belief. It is, above all, sensitivity. And when you open your energy field through carelessness, fatigue, or lack of protection, you become like a house with unlocked doors. Anyone can enter, and not every visitor comes in peace. Some presences are merely curious, others come looking for something, and some, unfortunately, come to unbalance, to drain, to weaken. Have you ever noticed how after feeling this strange presence you become tired, discouraged, or even sick? Have you noticed how your thoughts become more negative? How everything suddenly starts to go wrong? This is the action of negative spiritual energy when it finds fertile ground to act. But the most dangerous thing is not to feel it, but to ignore the call. Because when the spiritual world manifests, it is trying to communicate something. It could be a warning, it could be a cry for help, it could be a warning from your higher self saying, "Wake up, something needs to change." And there's more. This feeling of being watched can also come from someone trying to access your energy, someone who thinks too much of you, someone who is envious, who wishes you harm, who speaks of you in the shadows. Other people's energy can reach us, especially if we are not on our guard, and this manifests as an invisible presence, as an unexplained discomfort, as a pressure in the shoulders, chest, stomach, and all of this is real, only invisible, and therefore so powerful. That's why it's so important to learn to protect yourself. But before protecting yourself, you need to recognize, feel, accept that what you're experiencing has a spiritual origin. It's not just psychological, it's not just stress, it's not just a physical discomfort, it's a call from the soul. And when the soul cries out, the universe responds, but only if you're ready to listen, only if you're awake enough to interpret the signs. And at this point, I ask you, have you ever felt like you're being watched, even alone? Have I ever felt someone was nearby, but when I looked, there was no one? Have you ever felt chills out of nowhere, even in a quiet place? If so, leave the word "I notice" in the comments. This will show that you're paying attention, that you're beginning to see beyond the material, that your sensitivity is opening, and that you're ready for the next stage of this journey. And before we move on, share this video with someone you know who feels this way too. Perhaps this person is experiencing something much deeper than they imagine, and information like this could open a new path. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now. This is crucial for us to continue bringing spiritual truths that many people try to hide. But here, we speak, we show, we feel. And what comes next is even more revealing, because in the next part, you'll discover what truly attracts these presences. What you may be doing without knowing that is opening invisible portals. We'll talk about simple practices, dangerous habits, and signs that something needs to be cleansed, protected, and closed in your spiritual realm. So hold on tight, because the veil between worlds is thinner than ever. And maybe, just maybe, what you feel isn't just a sensation, it's a presence, and it wants to be acknowledged. Now that you've recognized this feeling, it's time to understand what might be opening this field. Because you see, none of this happens by chance. The spiritual world responds to our vibration, our thoughts, our choices, and most importantly, to how we manage or neglect our energy. Sometimes, what you think is just a nuisance may be a reflection of something that's been nurturing for a long time, even without you realizing it. Have you ever heard that your home can be a portal, that objects, habits, or even words have the power to attract or repel energies? Yes, and this is more common than you think. A disorganized, unventilated environment with broken or frozen objects can become a veritable magnet for dense presences. Confused spirits, energetic shadows, even echoes of pain from former residents may be there, watching, waiting for an opening to manifest. And do you know what the easiest gateway for these presences to enter is? Your own mind, your thoughts, your frequency. Because when you enter a cycle of anxiety, anger, deep sadness, repetitive thoughts, guilt, or fear, you lower your vibration. And when this happens, you become visible to what was previously just lurking. It's as if your light temporarily dims, making your field more vulnerable to the approach of the invisible. But that's not all. There are habits that seem harmless, but spiritually, they are true invitations to these energies. For example, sleeping with your cell phone next to you, watching violent or negative content right before closing your eyes, or keeping objects inherited from people with a dense spiritual charge, or even entering charged places like hospitals, cemeteries, and courthouses, and not cleaning them when you return. All of this opens small cracks in your protective field. And sometimes, it's not even what you do, it's who you connect with. People with low vibrations, hidden envy, disguised resentment. Those who, when they enter your home, leave the atmosphere heavier. Who leave and you feel tired, nauseous, or have an unexplained headache. That's why feeling is as important as seeing, because the soul always perceives before the body reacts. But then, what should you do? The first thing is to observe the patterns. If this feeling of being watched always occurs in the same place at the same time, or after certain situations, that's already a sign that something needs to be cleansed, closed, or cut. The second thing is to take care of your home like a temple. Open windows, let the light in, use incense, coarse salt in the corners, fluidified water, and pray daily. All of this strengthens your spiritual field. And of course, take care of your own energy. because there's no point in cleaning the outside if the inside is burdened. Forgiveness, silence, meditation, gratitude, quality sleep, and a light diet. All of this strengthens your light. And when your light is lit, no dark gaze can remain. Another powerful practice is the cleansing bath, simple but effective. It can be done with rue, rosemary, or basil. Do it with faith, in silence, focusing on purification. And after bathing, never forget to moisturize your body with an oil or cream with lavender or chamomile essence, bringing softness to seal the field. And now I ask you, have you ever done any of these practices? Have you noticed a difference when cleaning the house or taking an herbal bath? Have you ever felt relief after a deep prayer? If so, comment here, cleaning. This way, more people will feel encouraged to try it, because many people live in fear, thinking they're going crazy, when in fact they're just spiritually sensitive. And if this message is reaching you now, believe me, it's no coincidence. Perhaps what you feel as looks are spiritual alerts. Maybe you're more open than you think. And all of this is just the beginning of a new cycle. A cycle where you don't run away from energy, but learn to deal with it. Where you don't close your eyes to the invisible, but develop the spiritual gaze. And before we move on to the next part, where I'll reveal 7 clear signs that you're being energetically observed, like the video, here, share it with someone who also needs this message, and subscribe to the channel. This is what keeps our energy truly circulating here and gives us the strength to continue bringing you content that the world tries to hide. But that spirituality insists on revealing, because in the end, the invisible is closer than you imagine. Let's now continue with the third part of the guide, titled, Do You Feel Like You're Being Watched? This could have a spiritual explanation, revealing 7 clear signs that this could be a warning from the invisible world. You're at home, alone, and suddenly feel an inexplicable chill. You look around and see nothing, but your heart races as if something or someone were there, watching you. This sensation is real for many people, and it can indeed have a spiritual cause. Let's now unravel the signs that indicate you may be being watched by a presence that goes far beyond what meets the eye. The first sign is a sudden change in the ambient temperature. If you feel a sudden chill, like an icy draft passing through you, especially indoors, this could indicate the approach of a spiritual energy. When entities manifest, they often alter the surrounding vibrational field, and this directly affects the thermal sensation. The second sign is the feeling of being watched, even without seeing anything. It's that intuitive perception, as if invisible eyes were following you. In many cases, this is reported by more sensitive or spiritually open people who can more easily detect these presences. The third sign is unexplained noises, doors that creak without wind, objects that seem to move subtly, cracking sounds, soft knocks at night. All of these can be indications that something or someone is there trying to communicate or manifest. The spiritual world doesn't always shout, it whispers, and these noises may be one of those whispers. The fourth sign is linked to dreams. When you have frequent nightmares about dark presences, chases, or gloomy environments, it's good to be alert. The spiritual world often communicates with us during sleep, and these recurring dreams can be alerts from the spiritual subconscious that something is nearby. The fifth sign is the feeling of excessive and unexplained fatigue, as if even after a good night's sleep you wake up drained, heavy, as if something were sucking your vital energy. This happens when dense entities feed on our energy, especially when our spiritual protection is low. The sixth sign is when plants in your house suddenly wilt, or pets start behaving strangely, such as barking or meowing at random, or refusing to enter certain rooms. Animals and plants are highly sensitive to spiritual presences and often notice them before we do. And the seventh sign is sudden mood swings, excessive negative thoughts, and constant arguments within the home for no real reason. All of this can be a result of spiritual influence. When a home is overtaken by dense energy, residents Begin to feel unbalanced, feeling anger, sadness, and anxiety without understanding why. If you identified 3 or more of these signs, comment below with the word alert. This helps you register this awareness and helps others understand that they are not alone. And remember, there's no need to be afraid. Spirituality also surrounds us with protection, light, and love. But to achieve this, we need to be attentive and care for our spiritual field with the same dedication we care for our bodies. If this video resonates with you, like it, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel. This is very important to keep this current of light and knowledge active here. And tell us in the comments, which of these signs have you experienced?